Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us and helps the bands and artists that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR. Outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is the end of the year. My, oh my, Christmas is coming. I finally got all my stuff done today, so I can sit back and relax and let all of the craziness of Christmas happen. But I will not be a part of that with regards to getting any more presents or anything like that. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing our top 5 concerts that we attended in 2025. If you haven't already, check out our top 10 songs episode and our top 5 albums as well. But today, we are talking about concerts. And of course, we didn't go to as many as we did last year, but we still ended up going to 15 concerts and 4 music festivals. It kicked off in January with Thus Love at Union Transfer in Philadelphia. In March, we had Houndmouth at XL Live. Of course, our annual trip to South by Southwest. We had Disco and Space Bacon at the Abbey Bar in April. Then in June, we had the Green River Music Festival up in Massachusetts. Our first time going there. It was awesome. Saw so many great acts, and what a great venue, or whatever you want to call it, setting for the festival at these fairgrounds up there in Western Massachusetts. And then in July, we had Galactic and ALO at Long's Park in Lancaster. We then, in August, had Musikfest in Bethlehem. Bunch of bands that we saw there. And then in August 15th, we saw Fitz and the Tantrums with Snack Time at XL Live. And then we went down south, down to Nashville, ladies and gentlemen, to Americanafest. And we saw, I think, 21 bands over 3 days there. South by, I think, was 38 or it was something in the 30s. So even though we only went to 15 concerts, we definitely saw a lot more concerts with bands. And then we ended the year with Goose at the Man on October 4th. So there you have it. Those are our 15 and the festivals. So let's get into my top 5 that, of course, I have not announced in that previous list. The first one, ladies and gentlemen, happened on January 23rd. It was at XL Live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And it was my first time seeing this jam instrumental electronica band called Lotus. And ladies and gentlemen, they did not disappoint during their 3-hour and 20-minute set. And I danced and moved and grooved the entire night. We got a sit-in from guitarist Jeremy Shawn from Pigeons playing ping pong on their song Wax, on Lotus's song Wax. And they did a ridiculous cover of Heads Will Roll by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Their How to Dream in Color tour started on July 11th, 2024 at Johnny Brenda's in Philadelphia and ended on February 15th, 2025 in Seattle. But they're ringing in the new year in Buffalo at the Town Ballroom and already have dates announced through spring of 2026. My next band or concert that we saw was, I just mentioned, at Johnny Brenda's in Philadelphia. We saw this band on April 17th, And then again on July 9th at the Songbird in Washington, D.C. That band is the Bright Light Social Hour. And you know, Austin, Texas is one of my favorite cities in the country. And the music scene there is top notch as well. And the boys and Mia spent most of 2025 on the Endless Light and the Most High tours. And we were so fortunate to be given tickets to both shows by the band. Johnny Brenda's is one of the finest venues in Philadelphia, and the band's set list was a celebration of their song catalog. Mia has elevated the band and their sound since her arrival, and I'm excited to hear about her side project with Curtis, the guitarist. The vibes were strong that night, and the band was truly enjoying the energy the audience was giving back. And Air is Human was an excellent opener with their experimental rock and electronica, Philly's own as well. So, our third concert, ladies and gentlemen, of 2025 in our top five happened at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey on Labor Day. And that concert, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Oasis's return to the concert stage. Cage the Elephant, Richard Ashcroft, and Cast were all part of the festivities. And you know, 16 years we waited patiently for the brothers to end the bickering and fighting and get on with it. And boy, did they ever. October 4th, 2024, I somehow got tickets the old-fashioned way when they actually went on sale. And I joined the millions trying to score them. Almost a year later, night two was a night I will never forget. The pre-concert excitement and anticipation was off the charts, and everyone was wearing merch of their beloved Brits. All the bands who opened stepped up their performances for the 120,000 people who witnessed a 23-song set list that unfortunately did not change over 2 nights, and it lasted 41 dates. And not one fight or fist, just hugs at the end of each show from the Brothers Gallagher. It truly was, ladies and gentlemen, just a amazing night. There are words that will never be able to fully describe what we witnessed that night. But thank you, Oasis, for making that happen. And hopefully this is not the end of their tour or them touring again. Then we go into September, a couple weeks later, September 18th, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to finish off strong at the Mann Music Center in Philadelphia. We got another band that we waited a long time for, not as long as Oasis, but Alabama Shakes. And the band that opened up for them, the Budos Band. And like I said, another band that we waited patiently for a full tour was this band after 8 years of no activity. Brittany Howard and the band brought the fire for a 90-minute set that included one new song. Their album Sound and Color was almost played entirely, and her voice sounded strong and self-assured as I sat in excellent seats in the orchestra thanks to my pal Jimmy. Budo's band from New York City were a pleasant surprise as they had me grooving their entire set. And you could tell the crowd was definitely getting into them as well for an opening band. And then we have our final concert our final top five concert of 2025, ladies and gentlemen. It also happened at the Man 8 days later on September 26th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Mount Joy. A 2 night residency to end their summer tour in their hometown. And we again had fantastic seats behind the pit for this 2.5 hour show that featured our friend Snack Time, who we interviewed earlier this year, Amos Lee, who's also from Philadelphia, and the Philly Fanatic. When the Philly Fanatic came out on stage, like people were losing their minds. Like the Philly Fanatic, for those of you who are not from Pennsylvania or from Philadelphia or just don't know anything about the Philly Fanatic, he is one of the most iconic mascots in the entire world. And so there is a reverence toward him that is unmatched. And so to see him come out and rock out with, again, their hometown band, Mount Joy, it was a sight to see. And after seeing the band headline the Green River Festival, it was nice to see the new songs evolve and some deep cuts that we had not heard before. A concert that I got to go to with my lady too, which did not happen as much as we both would have liked due to schedules and life. So this was extra special due to that fact. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, our top five concerts of 2025. Lotus at XL Live, Bright Light Social Hour at Johnny Brenda's, Oasis, Cage the Elephant, Richard Ashcroft, and Cast at MetLife Stadium, Alabama Shakes at the Man, and Mount Joy also at the Man. So thank you to all of you for making all of these concerts happen. You know who you are. Without you, none of this happens. And so I appreciate that. Thank you to all the bands for, again, inspiring me, for lifting me up, for filling that void that live music does for me. 2026 is already looking like a good start. We're back at South by again. Bands are starting to announce. Festivals are starting to announce. So can't wait for 2026. But 2025, certainly, as you can tell, did not disappoint. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us, and that helps the bands and artists that we feature. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.